All right, this here is my 1989 Dodge Caravan. I picked this thing up on the cheap on Facebook Marketplace, and I want to drive it as my daily. But lo and behold, get it home, and what do I find in the oil pan? But a connecting rod in 50 different pieces.
No, God, please, no, no!
That is not what I was expecting. Fast forward 6 months, I got a junkyard engine from a 1993 Dodge Shadow, torn down and partially rebuilt. Wow, amazing. I'm talking machined block, balanced crank, new pistons and rings, some real race car shit. Through all the trials and setbacks, I never lost sight of the original goal. I want to daily drive this thing. So let's get this engine assembled. Let's get it installed, and let's get it running. So then I can start living the dream of scooting around in an 80s minivan.
Scoot. In fourth gear, before my red line, I hit 130 mile, 135.
Okay, that's all the plan I need for now. Let's get going. Welcome to Team Hesh. So yeah, there is still kind of a lot of work to do. However, in my opinion, the hardest work has already been done. I took all of the parts that I want to use, some off the original engine, some off the junkyard engine, and I sandblasted them up and got them all painted. Honestly, it was kind of a nightmare. But I'm now in a position to assemble the engine like it is a Lego set. So you can see here, all I got done so far is the long block. So what I got left to install in the engine is as follows. The oiling system, the timing set, exhaust, fuel injection stuff, pulleys and brackets. And at that point, I'll have an engine assembled enough that I can drop it into the engine bay. And then I got to follow up with power steering pump, alternator, AC compressor, the whole cooling system, and all the hoses and boxes and air box routing for the air filter that brings it into the intake. I'm pretty sure I remember where all these parts go, but if you want to wish me luck from the other side of the screen, hey, I will take it. So let's start here with the oiling system. I'm going to put on all the parts that move the oil around the engine and keep it on the inside. So that's going to be oil pump, rear main seal, pickup tube, oil pan, oil filter mount, and the valve covers. Now this oil pump was rebuilt in another video I did, and check it out here. Okay, had to hang the engine from the engine crane to make room for installing the rear main seal here. You cannot forget the pickup tube.
Oh, okay.
So the pan gasket I got came with these cool alignment pins, so I got those installed. Then I put on the pan gasket and installed the oil pan. Then I torqued down the hardware and got the drain plugs installed. Ooh, look at that. Pan is looking so fresh. Now the oil filter mount goes right in the side here. I'll get that installed and I'll throw on an oil filter. I got a lot of crap for using this brand in the comments, so I'm just gonna use it for now for the break-in period, but yeah, listen, I know. What do y'all use for filters? If you got a recommendation, let me know. Now the valve covers got new gaskets and rubber washers on the hardware. And next I will get those installed and torqued down. So this is minor, but I thought this was pretty cool. The rebuild kit that I got came with a new rubber seal for the oil fill cap. You can see here the old one is dry and cracked. So I got that replaced and installed, and you can tell it's a much, much better seal. Little details like that, I love them.
Excellent!
So last, I'm going to tap on the plastic clips for the spark plug wires. And with that stuff on, the oil system is done. The painted valve covers are definitely looking sick. It's the new cast aluminum paint from VHT. Looks great, and it dries to like an enamel. Very cool, very nice. Me like it. Now, onto the timing set. That's going to be water pump, cam sprockets, belt tensioner, timing belt, and then all the other little unnamed junk like brackets and covers and clips. So this water pump is pretty interesting. I've never seen one that works quite like this before. It's mounted across the block and connects to a coolant crossover tube that goes right down the valley of the V and the V6 and then routes around through a couple other things to link up to the radiator. Pretty unique design, never seen it before, just thought it was interesting. So the first thing going on here is that crossover tube, and then I'll connect the water pump to that. Both cam sprockets have parts that go on first. For the right side, it's just a back cover, protects the belt. For the left side, we got the cast aluminum alternator mount. And with those on, the cam sprockets can go on. And then fast follow with the belt tensioner. You either got to rig something up or you got to use this special tool, but because the cam sprockets want to spin on you, you have to hold them in place as you torque them down. Definitely a pain in the butt. So here I use the old crank pulley bolt to get everything lined up and in time, and then I wrestled the timing belt on. As one does, turn the engine over a few times by hand to make sure that everything lined up. And on this engine, all is well in timing land. We are aligned. We are in time. Not off by a tooth. I'm not 180 out. It's lined up. It's perfect.
Oh my God! Wow!
So I got everything looking so clean and pretty. Timing belt looks amazing. Then I gotta hide it with these plastic covers. So went through the trouble of making the covers look shiny at least. All right, timing set done. Next up, we got exhaust. Here we got the parts that I need to put on. We're looking at 2 headers and a crossover tube. So I'll set up both the headers and the crossover tubes loose. Then I'm going to torque it all down once it all fits together. Finishing touches here are the heat shield that faces the front of the engine. Don't want to burn my little fingies poking around.
And I swear to you that I will put my safety first.
And the dipstick. So the dipstick had to go on last because it curves past the exhaust and the heat shield and all that stuff, so... technically part of the oiling system, but couldn't go on until now. Okay, next up, lower intake.
Team Hash t-shirt now with 2 sleeves. Order yours immediately.
I'll give you trouble.
I'll give
masterpiece around the track if you get... It's impossible.
The all-new Team Hashtag, because your head deserves a kick into overdrive.
Collectible stickers by Team Hash. Collect them all before it's too late for all of us.
Bold 3 Detergent Plus.
The engine I'm working on here, the Mitsubishi 6G72 single overhead cam. The intake is a two-parter with an upper and lower intake, and the fuel rail and injectors is the meat in that sandwich. Building the intake sandwich, we will start with the bottom bread or the lower intake. Now this thing has coolant passing through it, and it also holds the thermostat and the coolant temperature sensors, so I'll get those installed now too. So I don't have a gasket for the thermostat. What can a guy do? I just gotta goop it up and hit it with some glue. And then the temperature sensors go on either side of the thermostat with their own special type of goop. Getting gooped up. Call me a gooper. Where my goopers at? The last few details here are the map sensor and the bracket that it goes on. Backside of the intake, it's one of the heater core lines. Yeah, while I'm at it, install a brand new O2 sensor. Just the way I like to do things, plus it's a lot easier with the engine out and all this access, all this room. So like I said, putting together the intake sandwich. Next up here is going to be the fuel rail and the upper intake. That's going to be the meat and the top bread of the sandwich. I guess it could be a burger. It doesn't have to be a sandwich. Yeah, let's make it a burger.
Cheeseburger, Big Mac, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac.
Fuel rail is the patty, and then the upper intake is the top bread. So first up on fuel injection, we got to get the pressure regulator installed onto the fuel rail. That's a vacuum powered regulator. All that vacuum powered magic. Then I'll get the injectors installed onto the fuel rail. The injectors were cleaned in another video. Check that out here. Last here is installing the fuel rail onto the lower intake. Then we got to weave in the injector wiring. So I forgot to mark which wire goes to which injector when I disassembled the original engine. So I pulled out the shop manual, pulled up the wiring diagram, and I chased out what goes where with my multimeter. Took me a minute, but we figured it out. Now with the wiring installed, the upper intake can go on. Pretty proud of myself here. I picked up some clean looking stainless hardware for the upper intake. I know I'm gonna be looking at it all the time and I want it shiny. Okay, next up is the distributor. Also rebuilt the distributor in another video. You can check out that video here. Now I know I got cylinder 1 at top dead center. So all I gotta do here is line up the distributor rotor with the output for cylinder 1. Now the distributor will be in time with the rest of the engine. So jumping around a little bit on the project, as one does, decided now is the time that I wanted to prime the oil system. Started by dumping a bunch of oil into the engine, and then I turned it over by hand until I saw oil dumping out of the filter mount. That happened pretty quickly. Then I pulled off one of the valve covers so I could see oil making it to the heads, which was very cool to see. Everything was looking good. Oil system is primed. Very nice. Yeah, now it's time for some boring brackets. I got this big old accessory plate that goes on the front of the engine. Yeah, then I put on this little tiny baby timing light gauge. The little hole in that thing is for some type of 90s Chrysler magnetic timing sensor thing. You got to buy the factory timing computer. I'll never use it. I got the old school light. It works fine.
I'm kicking it old school.
Moving on. Got the spark plugs installed and threw on the wires too. Got to make use of those little plastic clips I installed earlier and went through the trouble of making it look clean. Details, details, details. Next up is brackets and pulleys. First up, I got the AC compressor bracket. Goes right on the side there. Then the compressor belt tensioner. And its little baby V-belt pulley. Then the alternator and the power steering belt tensioner. That goes on right there. And then what we got here is the crank pulley. Now this thing is in 3 pieces because it was all rusty, so I wanted to blast it and paint it. Looking all clean now, but gotta get it reassembled. Start by putting that sandwich together. And then I'll get it installed on the crank and just hand tighten it for now. And that's it. Engine is assembled and ready for install.
He did it! The son of a bitch did it!
All done up and painted, looking so good. What an improvement from what I picked up from the junkyard. And I got 0 parts left over. So honestly, after getting all the parts cleaned and painted, the assembly process was pretty smooth. So next up is install. Gotta get the engine in, gotta get all the wires and hoses connected, gotta get it filled up with coolant, gotta put a battery in there, and then it's time for first start. Spooky, scary. I'm scared, I'm shaking over here, terrified. The hard stuff is done. I'm feeling good. Install and first start is up next. That's it for now. Thanks for checking in. See you next time.